Dodgertown, USA, Vero Beach, Florida, otherwise known as Holmen Stadium. I decided to take a trip down there. It's have been closed for a while. The Dodgers have left. The Dodgers, as well as the Vero Beach Dodgers, there's no longer a Dodger affiliate down there in Holmen Stadium. But this would have been the entrance that you came to purchase your tickets or to enter the stadium from the street. Just as you walk in, here's the visitors' batting cages, and next to them is the clubhouse for the visitors. You would see the gift shop and the ticket booths as you walk up. I remember going there many times, and as a kid, very excited to walk through these gates, and up to the left you would walk up the first base side to go to your seats. Usually this area here was blocked off. This would take you over to where the visitors would go into the clubhouse, and they normally would come out here and enter the field through there. But you sometimes could sneak over and look over the bleachers and see them come out of there and mingle in that little hallway there sometimes. Back when I was a kid, there was no fence, which really made Holmen so unique. This berm was created when they made the infield, and as you can see in the picture, there's no fence back when this was taken. And it just made it just a great place to watch from the berm, no matter where you were at. But as you can see, no matter where you're sitting, it's a great place to watch a game. There's not a bad seat in the house. The visitors' bullpen was right there next to the berm, so if you were sitting in the right field of the line, you could watch them warm up, which was great. And over on the first base side, when it was time to go get something to eat, you would just run down to the first base cafe there. And as you were walking from the ticket booth, you could come through there and get you a drink on the way to your seats and up the steps. There's no longer any Dodger dogs for sale, unfortunately, but the Hall of Fame walk is still there. But as you walked up and looked around, you could see that there's no bad seats in the entire place. Walter O'Malley specifically made it that way so everyone was able to see the game, and he was very big into trees and agriculture and plants and stuff. So many of the old palms you'll see that are very tall are ones that he made sure that he put there. So there's still a few there, not as many as there used to be, but there's still a few there. And as you walk around, you come up from behind home plate area. As you can turn, you can see the stairs heading up to the score box, and directly behind home plate is another concession area. Very, very busy place. And there's a few groundskeepers out there on this day, but they left me alone for the most part. And the third base side is very much the same as the first base side. And they have a new ball field being put in, and that lake there used to be heart-shaped. Walter O'Malley made it in the shape of a heart in honor of his wife. It is no longer heart-shaped due to the new construction of those fields. On the third base side is where the home team would warm up in the bullpen. You can imagine Sandy Koufax, Don Drysdale, Fernando Valenzuela, or Horshizer, that goes on, right by the fans having conversations. And the scoreboard is no longer in the right center field as it is in this picture now. It had been moved years ago to where it is now in the left center field. However, it's just an incredible place to watch a ball game, for sure.
Sandy Koufax walked out to the mound to pitch a fateful ninth, where he turned in a no-hitter. But tonight, September the 9th, 1965, he made the toughest walk of his career, I'm sure, because through 8 innings, he has pitched a perfect game. He has struck out 11. He has retired 24 consecutive batters. And the first man he will look at is catcher Chris Cruz, big right-hand hitter. Fly to center, grounded to short. Dick Tracewski is now at second base, and Koufax ready and delivers. Curve ball for a strike. 0-1 the count to Chris Cruz. Out on deck to pinch hit is one of the men we mentioned earlier as a possible Joey Amalfitano. Here's the strike one pitch to Cruz. Fastball swung on and missed. Strike two. And you can almost taste.
Get most of your concession. If you're in a hurry to get back to the game, You just would peek your head around the corner, and you wouldn't miss a thing. It'd stare right at you.
Koufax lifted his cap, ran his fingers through his black hair, then pulled the cap back down, fussing at the bill. Cruz must feel it too as he backs out, heaves a sigh, took off his helmet, put it back on, and steps back up to the plate. Tracewski is over to his right to fill up the middle. Kennedy is deep to guard the line. The strike 2 pitch on the way.
As I stand on this bridge, that so many players came from the clubhouse over to the stadium to play. Many fans would line up right here and watch them go by, this and that.
Outside, ball 1. Krug started to go after it and held up, and Torborg held the ball high in the air, trying to convince Vargo, but Eddie said no, sir.
The 3 fields I just showed you, including this one, were 3 of the original fields long before Holmen Stadium. Just before the game was over, right by the ticket shop there, the gift shop, and the ticket booth, a lot of teams would park their buses, and so the visiting players would come out of there and go to their buses. So you line up there and try to get autographs. And I stood there many times trying to get a lot of Cincinnati Red autographs and got a few. And a lot of memories right there. Before Holmen Stadium, before Dodgertown, this was a Naval Air Station during World War II. And the Naval Air Barracks is where the players stayed. As you see the 3 fields I was just talking about, the barracks were still there. And they would have been right where this building was, right in this area. They stayed there, about 600 players and executives. Even where this batting cage is where they would have stayed. And they were torn down in 1972. Still plenty of photos of them. They had no air conditioning, no heating. So on humid nights it was very hot. Cold nights it was very cold. And they were replaced by the new apartments that I'll show you later. But even the owners and everyone would stay in there at times. But those that were married would stay off site. And mainly the rookies, those trying to make the team. Walter O'Malley put in these tennis courts. He put in shuffleboard courts. He put in a pool. He tried to keep all the players on site so that they wouldn't have to go in carousing throughout the city, and he wanted to have a good reputation, didn't want any problems, this and that. So he tried to make sure they stayed on site. He had movies played. He did all kinds of things to keep them here, keep them happy, and keep their minds fresh and clear, and plenty of things to do after their practices, after their games, and all of these things. But what you're looking at right here is some of the apartments they stayed in. Peter O'Malley himself stayed in this one with the screen door. This was 162. He and his family and the kids would stay here when the Dodgers were here. And this is just part of the complex, some of the meeting rooms and such. And again, these were built in 1973. These all opened up. And when the Naval Air Station, when those barracks were destroyed, they started using these. But that was our visit to the stadium. There were 2 golf courses that Walter O'Malley built. One was the Dodger Pines golf course. It was a 9-hole course, and it was just outside the left field fence. He would sometimes call up the groundskeepers at night when he was playing someone who would either slice the ball or hook the ball, and he would have them put in a sand trap or take a sand trap out to give him an advantage the next day. And sure enough, the next day there'd be a new sand trap, or a sand trap that was once there is all of a sudden grass. And these are some of the remnants of that golf course. And there was also a Safari Pines golf course across the street, and it was an 18-hole golf course that I'll show you in a little bit. And this is the clubhouse back to Dodger Pines. It's housing some of the old golf carts, and some of the old Dodgertown signs are housed in there still, and some of the driving range signs and the yardage and that type of stuff are still stored in there. And this would have been the entrance to Safari Pines golf course, 18-hole golf course. Actually had a par 6 on one of the holes, and this was just off of 43 and 26th Street. You look around, you can see absolutely no signs of this ever being a golf course, however. Okay, Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Hit thumbs up if you like it. If you don't do anything at all. If you have any comments, memories, or whatever of this place, leave it below the video there, and the more the merrier. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you next time.